Hello everyone, this is honeymaysims and welcome back to my channel for a brand new speed build. If you're new here, hi, welcome in, and if you are a returning viewer, it's so good to see you and I hope you've been well since the last time. So today I am building two residential rental houses in Delaware Valley on this rather wide lot. I have to say these wide lots have always been a struggle for me to build on, but now with the new For Rent expansion pack coming out in early December, we'll have the option to make our own apartments, duplexes, townhouses, and so on, and have multiple families and households living on one lot. And now these wide lots just make more sense to me really, since we can do multiple houses on a lot and rent them out or live in them. And the houses don't even have to connect for us to rent them out or live there, since you can either be a property owner or a tenant. But not just full houses, you can rent out certain rooms and have shared spaces, like you, for example, rent out the bedrooms and have kitchens, living room, and bathrooms as shared spaces. I'm so excited to try out the new pack and make all kinds of builds, but we still sadly have to wait a bit longer. This build is not functional as a multi-unit lot as of now, but once the new pack comes out, it will be, because it will be easy to adjust it and rent out any kind of space. The Sims recently posted the gameplay trailer for the For Rent expansion pack, so I am really excited to talk about it with you all, talk more about the houses I am building here, and just have a cozy time together here today. My number one mission was to make these two houses blend in with the rest of the neighborhood of Delaware Valley here, so I do take some inspiration from other houses and landscaping you can see in the surroundings here. And initially I wanted to go for more of a coastal vibe on the inside of each house, but I did change my mind eventually, so we do end up with two quite different interiors in the end, and you will see that when we start decorating the houses. As I'm working on the exterior of this lot, I do want to start off by talking about the gameplay trailer for the new pack. As mentioned, if you haven't seen it yet, it will be up on the Sims official YouTube channel. But I also want to include some screenshots from the trailer as I talk about the different features here. So I do hope you enjoy me going through some of the new info we have, and I for sure really enjoy talking about it, and I love hearing all your opinions as well. First off, I really do like how the unit management in Build and Buy looks. So basically you can select rooms and decide which unit that room will belong to. So whether it be one room or multiple rooms, it can all be selected into one unit and you can rent this unit out or rent it yourself. There's also the possibility of adding in shared spaces, which is an area all tenants can use. A sim guru on Twitter did confirm we can have up to 6 units on one lot to rent out with 8 sims in each household, which is so wild. 8 sims? That's a lot of sims on one house or one lot. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I was hoping for at least 4 units, so having 6 units is so good. I'm very satisfied with this. But another sim guru also mentioned that you can have more units with a certain cheat, and what it is yet we don't know, but this just opened up so many doors. Like, imagine all the possibilities, and it's still uncertain how many properties we can own, but hopefully we can have multiple lots to own and manage. And it does sound very tricky to manage lots of properties though, but it certainly sounds like a good challenge. And as we saw in the gameplay trailer, there is a certain thing called tenant agreements. I'll put up a screenshot of this here for you so I can talk through the different features. So in the tenant agreement, we will be able to decide the rent per day and the lease length. It does say there's a maximum rent though, and I do hope this will change depending on the size of the rental unit. That only makes sense, right? And I wasn't too sure about what lease length meant in this context. I thought it meant for how long the rent or lease would last, like a sim would only rent the unit for a certain amount of days, and it could possibly open up the possibility of renting units as if we owned a hotel or something similar. But another sim guru on Twitter did say that the lease length relates to time periods where tenants can break their lease without paying additional fees, and also property owners can make certain changes to the lease, which means that the sims might leave on their own, but they rent indefinitely. That kind of blew up my hopes for hotels, but I'm pretty sure modders will find a way to make hotels functional with this new rental system. I will continue talking about the tenant agreement features in just a bit, but let me first talk about the houses we are decorating today. So I hope that's okay that I go back and forth a bit between talking about the houses and the new for rent pack. So I did cut out a lot of the backyard decorating and the garage decorating as well, but I do show you this pool ID that I really like, which makes any pool into a functional standing pool. So you can make the standard pool in the ground, you can click the pool and use the arrows to raise the foundation like you would with any kind of house. So you add an extra tile so your sim can actually get into the pool, and you can either add a ladder or a staircase up to this tile. So I choose to add a ladder here just to make it look a bit more realistic. And I think standing pools are they're more realistic. I had one when I was younger as well, like our family had one, so I think that's a cute idea here. I do also skip the footage of me doing the floor plans here because honestly it took me a bit of time to figure it all out, so I will spare you of all my fumbling around and indecisiveness. But we do start with the beige house here on the right, and I do start with the kitchen as I usually do, honestly. So the idea for this house is that two parents live here with their teenager and preteen child. The parents are both teachers and they're very much into fitness and wellness, so I've added some gym equipment in the garage along with a washer and dryer and also some extra storage boxes and so on. I thought that was a realistic idea to have all that in the garage, so I did go with that idea. They also have a yoga mat in the backyard along with a basketball hoop attached to one of the walls, since I imagined the teenager would be into sports and especially basketball, but also gaming, so you will see some of their interests in their bedrooms later. And also the preteen or child is very colorful and all about cutesy things, like they're in love with lavender. And yes, you will all see all these things in their bedrooms later when we start decorating them. Since both the parents are teachers, I wanted this house to be very bright and friendly looking, so lots of colors. I especially love how the kitchen and living room end up looking. There's lots of this calm blue and beige tones in the kitchen, and I absolutely love the Parenthood kitchen set, and I'm surprised I was able to fit in a round, the big round table in here. So there was plenty of space apparently, and enough space for a standing kitchen cabinet that I clutter up to. This one is from Jungle Adventure. I almost forgot, but I also included some pet items in this house, so pet bowls in the kitchen and some toys in the living room, as I did imagine this family would actually have a dog. There's this colorful rug from high school years, I do believe it's from there at least, that I use in the living room that kind of bind together all the colors in the room. I did put together some high school years shelves and end table here to make a custom unit in the living room and clutter up those open shelves with books and other knickknacks. As teachers, I suppose you would have lots of books, either it be fictional or for research purposes, so we gotta have lots of bookshelves here as well. So I add some up against the wall here behind the couch, and oh my goodness, the couch, I keep saying it, but it's one of my favorites. It's so cute how the cutest swatches. So I use a yellow swatch here and match the armchairs on the side here as well. And these ones are from Dream Home Decorator. And of course, I think this family would put their diplomas up in the living room, so I found a nice place for them just behind the TV on the wall there. I just wanted this to be a homey, cozy family living room and house in general. So, doing colorful interior is not really my strongest suit, but I think this ends up looking cute, and I hope you think so too. And continuing with the gameplay trailer and the tenant agreement features, we have a thing called unit rating. So depending on the condition of the unit, we'll be getting a rating. So this has something to do with the amenities the unit has to offer and the environment and maintenance of the unit. The higher unit rate you get, the more renters you will attract, and you also have the possibility to choose who you want as a tenant. So you can view their details, how many Sims there are in the household, how many beds they need, and also what is their rent cap, what are they willing to pay for rent. And as seen in the 2 trailers we have so far, we have the possibility of having bug infestations, I do believe, and also mold growing in the rental unit. I do believe these things kind of relate to either the environment or maintenance rating of the unit. Like, are you taking care of and cleaning your unit? Is the bathroom looking clean? Is there trash lying around? Like those kinds of things. So if you want it to be a dirty, gross rental unit, you can totally make that happen. But are the Sims willing to stay there? Like, that's another question. But I do think the tenants deciding to live in either one of these houses I make here today hopefully will think the amenities and everything is all good. But I really do want to try out and build a more rundown multi-unit build once too. So I will write that down on my to-do list and hopefully I'll be able to make that happen in the future. There are certain unit rules we can set as a property owner, so the basic ones as seen in the trailer are no social events, no loud noises, maximum occupancy, I hope that's correct, no trash overload, and no ghosts. And if the tenant breaks these rules, they will be fined. I'm not sure if we can adjust the fines ourselves, so that's something we'll have to figure out later. And I'm also curious to see if there is any cross-pack compatibility with the unit rules. I do think I saw a SimGuru confirm there is at least one with cats and dogs, that there's a unit rule that says the tenants cannot own pets, sadly. So I'm curious to see if there are any more added with other packs as well. And I do think the no ghosts rule is kind of funny though. Like, what if your Sim just decides to get stuck in that house fire while cooking some mac and cheese? Will we be fined for being the ghost? I don't know, but it just sounds like a bit of chaos, and we do like that in The Sims sometimes. So I'm currently doing the lavender child bedroom now, and I gotta say I had so much fun decorating it, mixing all the soft colors together, the purples, blues, and mints as well, I do think. I was originally thinking this would be a twins bedroom, since this bedroom is a bit larger than the teenager's room, but I decided against it in the end, and instead I put in the big wardrobe from Get Together. I do use this wardrobe a few places in both the houses, but I really do wish we had more variations of this wardrobe by now. But I'm not sure how possible this is at this stage, sadly. But we can only hope, really. So this preteen is getting their own desk and laptop and lots of storage space with open shelves on the wall above the desk. So I put lots of cutesy posters and art on the walls here. And lots of the items in this room is from high school years, and I know it might be an unpopular opinion, but I really do quite enjoy the items coming with that pack. I feel like overall it's a very cute bedroom in my opinion. The teen bedroom is also quite colorful, I'd say. I'm going to mix some different shades of blue here, add in some reds and yellows. They've also got their signed basketball shirt framed on the wall and some posters hung up on the wall here as well. You're gonna see that this room is more cramped than the previous one, as I just mentioned, but don't worry, I have playtested this and it's all functional. So the teen is also getting their own fancy streaming PC, it seems like. I added in a cap resting on the desk here along with a big fancy rocket project. And this one you can find in the Parenthood debug, since this is an actual school project that kids and teens can do. And I think they usually bring home projects from school on Mondays, and then you can decide if they want to do it properly or sloppily. And I think that's such a nice realistic detail, and this teen is proudly showing off their project here. They get their own wardrobe too. I add a storage box here with some clothes perhaps. The multiple basketballs just had to be added as well, as they're into basketball. And in that nook by the door, I do add a small boxy TV and a gaming console, so they can sit in their beanbag and play some games. Moving on to the next house, we are starting off with the kitchen again, and I have to say I did struggle a bit with the theme of this entire house in the beginning. So we do start out with some light colors and light woods throughout the entire house, similarly to the previous house, but later we'll see that I've turned 180 and changed the floors to a darker color. We'll have darker wallpapers and overall just darker furniture. So I did lean more towards a modern, like luxurious almost and a dark theme towards the middle of decorating. So it's definitely a big contrast to the other more fun and colorful house. And the two houses also have two different floor plans, seeing as the shape of the houses weren't identical to start with. But I do put the kitchen, living room, and bedroom sort of in the same spaces. And for this house, I actually decided to have a guest bedroom where I used the Murphy bed. And you can of course renovate and decorate these houses as you please if you decide to download a lot into your game. But I think it was a nice idea to have a guest bedroom with this bed because I never do that. I never have a guest bedroom and I never use the Murphy bed. But just be careful with the bed because you never know if your sim will get stuck beneath it, which might lead to some rather unfortunate events. So you can decide if you want to rent out this room as it is, or the family living here wants to have some family or friends to stay over, which you can do if you have the Growing Together pack. And I should also mention who I thought might be living here. It was rather unclear to me in the beginning, but sometimes I build without thinking too much of the Sims living here, like what their careers are, their interests, relationships, and so on. But as we turned 180 with the color scheme, I thought maybe a doctor would be living here. The interior is very clean, not messy at all, which a doctor might be into, I don't know. And then I thought maybe they would be together with some sort of celebrity, like photographer, writer, something like that. I didn't include any photography items, but you can always add that if you want to go with this storyline. So I definitely think this family has some money and they probably fully renovated this house to fit their own liking, like changed the floorboards, changed the walls, added all their fancy furniture in here. So we definitely have lots of black, browns, and golds in here, which is a color scheme I absolutely love. And in the main bedroom, I also did a dark green, beautiful accent walls, which I think fits nicely with the brown and blacks. But again, if you want it in a different style, that's totally up to you and what kind of stories you want to tell. There's also a smaller bedroom included here, which you're gonna see later. And this one is actually a bit lighter than the rest of the house. I added this like soft yellow wallpaper from Dream Home Decorator just to make it look more childlike and colorful, since I do imagine the couple living here would have a child. And it's just like a simple child's room, but I think it ended up looking cute in the end either way. I don't include any footage of the bathrooms in this speed build, seeing as I don't think they're the most interesting rooms to show off. They're mostly identical to each other and probably my least favorite rooms to do sometimes because they're so similar to each other. So, but yeah, the houses do have 3 bathrooms each though, which kind of seems like a lot in my opinion, but once again, floor plan wasn't the easiest to do, so I just ended up going with it. At least some of the bedrooms do have their own en-suites, which is not very typical where I'm from, but I always see bedrooms with en-suites in renovation shows from the US, for example, so I just went with it here. And last but not least, going back to the gameplay trailer once again, they also mentioned that tenants have the chance of not paying rent, and if they do this, you will get the option to post a rent demand. It seems like one thing you can do here is take something from their unit like a repo person would do in the game from before if you are late on paying your bills, which is quite interesting, I have to say. Also, if they don't pay their rent or they break tenant rules, you can either evict the sim or choose to help them out and get back on their feet. So it's good to have the possibility of doing both, and you can choose if you want to be a good or bad property owner. You can also unjustly evict someone. I'm not sure what the consequences will be of doing that, but I'm certain there are some consequences to this action if they haven't done anything wrong. There's also this one scene in the trailer that shows off some kind of strike or rioting outside the building, so I do have a hunch that if the rating of the unit and the condition of it is bad, relating back to the amenities, environment, and maintenance I mentioned earlier, there is a possibility of your tenants being unhappy enough that they want to riot against you as the property owner. But above all, I'm also just really excited about the new build and buy and create a sim items coming with this pack. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm just getting more and more excited about it as we speak, honestly. And being able to build our own and also live in multi-unit builds, I think is a game changer. Like, sure, we had apartments in the previous installments of The Sims, like being built more freely, but they've never been this intuitive and freely made and managed. Like, you can now choose what units you want to rent out, you can have shared spaces. It's just opens up a lot of doors and possibilities, in my opinion. And also, living in a multi-unit build is something that lots of people in the world do too, so it's certainly a very realistic new touch to The Sims 4 that we haven't seen before. I'm definitely going to be using this new feature a lot when I'm building and playing the game, and I just can't wait for previously built apartment buildings, townhouses and duplexes that haven't been functional now be functional with this new pack. As you can see, I'm currently finishing up the last room here in this house, which is the kids' room I mentioned earlier. So let me know which of these houses is your favorite, the blue one or the beige one. Are you more into a modern fancy vibe, or are you more into a colorful color scheme? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a follow for more content in the future. If you want to be notified of when I upload a video next, make sure to click the bell icon too. This build is playtested and up on my gallery. My ID is honeymaysims, or you can find me with the hashtag honeymaysims as well. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today as we built these two houses in Del Sol Valley, and I can't wait to talk with you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye!